So my channel is not dedicated to YouTube tips or YouTube advice. However, as a content creator who has been making videos for over 7 years, I get a lot of questions about that particular subject of getting started on YouTube. Questions like, what should I name my channel? What should I make videos about? What equipment do I need? What the heck is this all mystical algorithm I've heard so much about? When should I post my videos? And like pretty much every other question under the sun that circles around the topic of getting started on YouTube. So many questions that I finally wanted to make a video giving you my advice. And if you know me, I am a big supporter in people starting their own YouTube channel because, like I said, I've been here for over 7 years and I love it. This is one of my biggest passions that I have. Aside from my career of acting, I love making videos on YouTube. And I think you will too, as long as you're here for the right reasons. I know it can be daunting to see people who have like millions of subscribers and big teams and studios and all this fancy equipment, but as somebody who runs a one-man operation YouTube channel and I don't have super fancy equipment, I can tell you it's possible. And I can also tell you it's possible to have fun and make great videos. Well, I think I make pretty great videos. So sit back, relax, grab a notebook and a snack because it's time for your YouTube big sister, I'm giving myself that title, to give you some advice on getting started on YouTube. Hi y'all, it's Annelies, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. Like I said, I don't actually make videos generally surrounding YouTube advice and tips. I actually make a lot of tech-related content, as well as some lifestyle videos which surround me and my life as an actor, as a content creator. So if that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing, and if you are coming back to my channel, welcome back and thanks for being willing to hang out with me some more. And while we're on the topic of who I am and what I do here on YouTube, I think it is appropriate to now move on to who you are and what you want to do on YouTube. There are two very important questions that you need to answer up top before you even get your channel started. One, what do you want to make videos about? And two, what is your channel going to be named? The second question, in my opinion, is a way easier question to answer, and I think that your channel name should just be your name. Boom, no thinking involved. I say this because I personally think that having your channel name be your name is just a lot more personal. Also, when it comes to brand recognition, it's going to be so much easier to find you under the name that you go by in real life than it would be if you were to try to use some moniker. Now, another alternative to using just your name is using your name in conjunction with something. Channels that I think use their name in a way that isn't just their first and last name successfully, in more of a YouTube channel name way, are channels like Nikki Tutorials, Anna's Analysis, and Evelyn from the Internets, to name a few. Nikki does tutorials, Anna analyzes, and Evelyn is from the Internets? But you get my point. Including their name helps them be easily found, but their channel name also alludes to what you might find on said channel. Now, it's not to say that channel names don't work. You have The Endless Adventure, MKBHD, tons of channels that work without using their actual names. However, something that you just want to think about is what group of people is going to be your initial audience. You have a built-in initial audience, and they're also known as your friends and family. And if you tell a friend or a family member that you have started a YouTube channel, more than likely they're going to just search for your name, not some YouTube name. At the end of the day, it's easy. You already know what your name is. You'll be easier to find. We love to see it. But also, like, do you. Do whatever you like best. This video is just my personal opinion and advice. So now that we got our name locked down, what videos are you going to make? And what is your channel going to be about? Because that is actually the most important question. All of this stuff doesn't matter unless if you know what your videos are going to be about. And I've seen people who get their equipment, their name, their logo, all that stuff, and then they don't know what they're gonna make videos about, which I feel like that is definitely the first question you gotta answer. Now, for the question of what should I make YouTube videos about, or what should my channel be about, I'm gonna answer that question with a question, because unlike a Snuggie, this is not a one-size-fits-all answer. When deciding on what you wanna make your videos or your channel about, ask yourself these questions. And you know how I mentioned getting a notebook? Feel free to jot down these questions and take a moment to pause and answer each one. What are some of my favorite things or activities? What am I passionate about? When my friends come to talk to me about a certain subject and ask my opinion, my expertise, or for my advice, what are they asking me about? I believe answering these questions can help you pinpoint what you want to make videos about or what you want your channel to be about. Now, I wasn't joking about that jotting down the questions thing. Feel free to pause this video, take a moment to answer those questions, and I truly believe that in those answers, you will find the inspiration for your channel. Okay, are you done? Cool. Now look at those answers, and I really think that in there you'll also find things that you search for maybe on YouTube. And I personally believe in making videos that you like to watch, making videos that you enjoy. Because if I were to spend like the 10+ hours it takes me to edit a singular video on a video topic or style or whatever that I didn't like, I would hate the whole process. But when it's something that I love and I enjoy and I think is really good or fun, it makes it such a fun time and way more worth it. Another thing, and this is like one of my biggest YouTube secrets, but something that inspires a ton of my YouTube videos, is thinking about videos that I have personally looked for and that either 1, didn't answer the question that I was asking, or 2, I felt like I could make better. Think of it like see a need, fill a need. Let me give you a quick example. So when I was getting ready to go off to college, I had a choice of 4 apartment complexes to live in, and the school's website did not do any favors with the pictures, so I didn't know what any of these apartments looked like on the inside, and I was gonna live here for the next year. So I turned to YouTube to see if anybody had done an apartment tour, to see what these places looked like. And unfortunately, what I found, instead of a apartment tour showing me the space, showing me what my future home would look like, what I found was a lot of people talking about their reasons for choosing a certain decor, or look at this cool pillowcase I got from Target, and it didn't answer the question I was asking. So I knew when I finally moved off to college and got into one of those apartments that I inevitably chose, I would fill that need. So I did, twice actually. If there's something that you wish was on YouTube with a channel, you have the opportunity to make it. And if what you wish was on YouTube was better, you also have the chance to do that too. Now that we've talked about your channel name and what you're going to be making, we now need to talk about what equipment you need and what you want your videos to look like. If you've watched any sort of how to get started on YouTube video, everybody and their mother has always said something along the lines of, you don't need a fancy camera, the camera on your smartphone works just fine, any camera is a good camera. Which, they're not exactly wrong. My YouTube channel started on my crappy PC webcam and my iPad mini front-facing camera. However, I know that's not the answer you want to hear. By no means do I think you need to buy a camera and not use what you already have. Get started with what you have and see if you even like making videos. Having a camera aside from your phone camera should never be the thing holding you back from making videos. But for the folks who know that this is something that they want to invest in, who already know that your phone camera is a great starting place, and who are looking for advice and suggestions on gear, this section is for you. Times have changed and I have invested in my equipment. So if you're just starting out, this is what I recommend. Although your webcam and your phone camera will work, you're going to get much better quality out of a dedicated camera, a digital camera, something that ideally shoots full HD, so 1080p. Cameras that I totally recommend that are relatively inexpensive and that are also easy to use are almost any of Canon's PowerShot digital cameras. It's their line of point and shoots. I have the Canon PowerShot ELPH 330HS and I've had this for about 6 years. And personally, I think it shoots better video than my iPhone XS does, which is only 2 years old. The current model of this camera, which is the 360, runs for about $210. And mind you, it is not the perfect camera and it is not a long-term solution. Now keep in mind, there's no mic input, there's no way to view yourself when you're filming, so it's not a long-term solution. However, if you want to step up the quality from your smartphone for only 200-ish bucks, it's a great way to do that. That is reasonably priced. If you're looking for a spot between this little point and shoot and like a mid-range DSLR, I would absolutely recommend the Canon M50. You've probably seen this camera online before. A lot of YouTubers, big YouTubers use it, and it's because it is a nice and small camera. It has a flip out screen so you can see yourself while filming. It has a mic input and a soft shoe mount so you can mount the microphone to your camera, and most importantly, it has interchangeable lenses. And at the price of $650, it is a way more reasonable price to save up for than like the $1,200 price range of a mid-range DSLR like the Canon 90D. Also, don't be afraid to buy used. A few scuffs on the outside don't matter when the quality of the camera still works great. Just remember, you do not need a top-of-the-line $3,000 DSLR in order to get started on YouTube. You just need something that will record you clearly, you can be seen, you can be heard, and what's going to end up mattering the absolute most is the quality of the content that you're making, not the literal video quality. Now that you know what you're filming and what you're filming with, let's talk about what you are actually filming, literally filming. This is mainly gonna be advice for people who wanna be in front of the camera. I know that there are a lot of channels who are very successful that don't ever show their face on camera, but also from the world of home improvement to beauty tutorials to tech videos to gaming and everybody in between, there are a lot of people who show their face on camera, so hopefully this section will be helpful for you. Now, I could talk about this topic, the topic of the look of your videos, all day, but I just wanna say right now, this goes for everything in this video. This is just my personal opinion and design choice, so take all of this with a grain of salt. Now, two things that you wanna consider when you are filming your videos, primarily when it's like you on camera or your subject on camera, is your lighting and your background. For the background, is it busy or distracting? Does it fit the topic of your video, the energy of your channel, or your personality? When considering where you are filming, you wanna make sure that your background is clean. Now, clean doesn't mean empty, as you can see with my current background. I like having things behind me that show a little bit of my personality, but also kind of fit the feel of my channel. I like how it's clean, but there's colors. You can see that there's books over there. I've got a little pop figure, but at the same time, I've got a light down here and I've got camera lenses. So a little bit of stuff that makes it feel what feels to me like me. Now, you can totally be the type of person that films in front of a blank wall. That's cool. You can also be somebody who films in front of a big bookshelf with tons of little knickknacks and gadgets on it. Whatever you like best. But just be aware of what's behind you. Is it distracting from you or the topic of the video? Are there things back there that shouldn't be back there, like your medical information or some dirty underwear? Do you have a dog who is, although very cute, doing some very distracting things? Keep all this stuff in mind because you want to make sure that people, especially if the focus of the video is supposed to be you, that people are focusing on you and not Mr. Whiskers scratching his butt. Secondly, lighting. You need to be seen. Unless you were going for some like spooky, moody vibe, then go off, I guess. But it's important that you are seen. It's video. It's a visual medium. You wanna be seen. If you're just starting off on YouTube and you don't have any equipment, daylight is your best friend. Things that are great about daylight, it looks beautiful and it's free. Face a window, put your camera in between yourself and a window, and you've got yourself a great and free lighting setup. That was the lighting setup that I used for many years. However, if you do feel like investing in your lighting equipment, I did just make a video about my favorite piece of lighting equipment, which is this 18-inch newer ring light that I'm using that I've had for like a couple years now. And I would say go watch the video. It's very informative. I tried to make it as detailed as possible. Spark notes. I love this light and it's affordable. Another YouTuber life hack that I have is switching out all the lights in your filming space with daylight light bulbs. Before I got lights, my first lighting equipment was some daylight light bulbs for the ceiling fan in my room. If you have a lamp in your house, swap out the light bulb for a daylight light bulb, bounce the light off of a wall near you, and you've got yourself a nice lighting setup for the price of a pack of light bulbs, which at Walmart, I think they go for like 4 for $6, which is pretty dang great. Having decent lighting also helps the literal quality of your video because your camera isn't having to work as hard to make sure that you can literally be seen. So you're not gonna have that grain, you're gonna be in focus way more often, and just it's gonna be a lot more clear. So before you start filming any of your videos, always just think of these two questions. What's in my background and can I be seen? So now that we've talked about channel basics, we've talked about what the channel is gonna be about, what it's gonna be called, how to film your videos, what you should be filming with, but now we're going to dive a little bit deeper into having a YouTube channel. Because unfortunately, there's more to having a YouTube channel than just making videos and posting them. If you want to create content, I would assume that you probably want people to see said content and maybe grow your channel and have more people see your videos to either help them or whatever the goal of your channel is. A big piece of the content creator puzzle is the algorithm, the all mystical algorithm that nobody knows anything about. Well, we know a few things, just two little things. This is all we know. If you are an aspiring content creator or somebody who's just gotten started or somebody who's been going at it for a pretty long time, you have probably heard of the algorithm. And unfortunately, there are no step-by-step instructions on how to make your videos seen by more people and how to be successful, whatever that means to you. Even the folks at YouTube claim to not entirely understand the algorithm because it's made up of parts of AI as well as machine learning. So a lot of computers, not a lot of people. Although the YouTube algorithm is this like mystical concept, there are some things that we, like the royal we, do in fact know that can help your channel. Now this is knowledge that is current as of February 2021. So keep that in mind, but for now, these are at least some tidbits that we do know that can help you out. First, consistency is key. Now, consistency with YouTube doesn't necessarily mean that you have to upload every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but it more so means that you are posting on YouTube regularly, whatever that means for you, so the YouTube algorithm doesn't forget about you. I can look back at my channel and specifically point to dips in my views, my progress, and my growth with my channel were also right when I wasn't being consistent at all. The more YouTube can rely on you for content, the more likely they are to recommend your videos to more people, because hopefully that means more opportunities for YouTube to advertise to viewers. Moral of the story, consistency is key. And also, if I might add, the more consistent you are, that means the more you are doing practical practice in creating content, which means the better at creating content you are going to get. I can absolutely confirm this theory with my own channel. Once again, I can look back at my channel and pinpoint when my videos started improving, and that was always when I was being way more consistent. Secondly, when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, do not post your videos every single day. Now, back in the day, this used to not be true. Daily vloggers were the thing. That's what everybody was doing, and that's what the algorithm liked. However, I do have a little insider insight because Nikki Tutorials, who has like millions of subscribers on YouTube, recently shared a little nugget of knowledge on her YouTube channel from her YouTube contact, which, yes, once you get big enough on YouTube, you get a YouTube contact. How crazy is that? Nikki said that her contact at YouTube told her that uploading every day might not necessarily help your channel, and it can potentially hurt it. They said that posting videos back to back can give each video less of an opportunity to do well, and then in turn, the algorithm looks at that as a reflection on your channel and might start suppressing videos, or at the very least, not helping you. By giving a little bit of time in between each upload, and that might only be a few days, it gives each video a fighting chance, if you will, to have their own moment to shine and be that fresh new video. And thirdly, and I've talked about this in other videos before, but watch time is so much more important than views. Watch time is the moneymaker, not views, and I mean that literally. The amount of time each viewer spends watching one of your videos is a metric for becoming a part of the YouTube Partner Program, which is how you get paid via ads on YouTube. Additionally, watch time is another metric that the YouTube algorithm looks at. Let's say you have a video on YouTube and people are watching about 5% of that video. The algorithm takes that information and then says, this must not be a quality video because people aren't willing to stay around for more than 5% of it. But let's say you have another video. Maybe it has less views, but people are watching like 60% of it. YouTube is then gonna go, this is a good video because people are watching a lot of it. And then they are more likely to push it to more people. Because once again, YouTube is a business, and the longer that people are on their website and the longer that people are on your videos, the more ads that can be pushed to them, which means more money in their pockets. So when making your YouTube videos, keep in mind that not only do you want people to click on your videos, but you want to keep them watching as long as possible. Moving on from the YouTube algorithm, I want to end this video with some final essential tips for getting started on YouTube. Things that I wish I knew when I was getting started, and frankly, a few things that I think a lot of content creators need to hear. Speaking of watch time, I am a firm believer in watching all of your own videos before you upload them. Not only for the perk of saying that you can catch any mistakes that you might have made before you post them and even after you post them, but if you can't sit through your own video, how the heck do you expect anybody else to do the same thing? With that, and this tip is gonna sound kind of weird, but dump your darlings. I've heard of this as kill your babies or murder your darlings, but I think dump your darlings sounds a lot more pleasant. Dump your darlings means to get rid of things that are in your video that you might love, but that either don't help the video or don't make sense. This part mainly comes down to the edit. Although you might think that you are just nailing it when you are making your videos, not every moment is gold. Some of the moments might be silver or bronze, and that's totally okay. With that being said, get rid of the pieces that are not pure gold because it's going to make that end video a lot more golden. As you can tell from this video, I am a big fan of analogies, but sometimes when I'm filming my video, I might think I'm on a roll with a good analogy. This thing is as solid as The Rock's abs. But then I import the video into Final Cut Pro and I realized that I was either talking for a really long time or that an analogy just doesn't make sense with the theme of the video and it's just hurting the video rather than helping it, and the video would be either more concise or more generally appealing, or I just think an overall better video if I were to cut it out. So I do. I dump my darlings. I come to accept that although I may love that particular part of the video, it might be the part that loses some people and makes some people click off of the video. So I decide to dump it. For the sake of the video, for the sake of the storytelling of the video, and for the sake of the viewer. Next, Clickbait does not help your videos. Remember what I said about watch time? People click on a title and thumbnail expecting to get a video relating to what they clicked on. If they don't see it in a reasonable amount of time, they bounce. That right there hurts your watch time and tells Miss Algorithm that people aren't liking your video or it's not what they expected, so she's gonna suppress your video or at the very least not recommend it to many people. And speaking of thumbnails, the last tip is thumbnails make or break your video. When it comes to a clickbait thumbnail, it will definitely hurt your video. However, if you have a banger of a video and a grainy, crummy, not representative of your video at all thumbnail, people aren't going to click on it and they'll never see the banger of the video. Your title and thumbnail is people's first impressions of your video. It tells them what to expect when they click on it. So if you aren't doing something that is appealing to get people to see that sweet, sweet content, they're never going to see it. Some great thumbnail pointers that I have learned from industry professionals from workshops and conventions that I've attended over the years is that thumbnails with faces, especially ones with strong emotions in them, tend to do better than those without. That's why you see those thumbnail faces because people will click on something that has strong emotion, even if it seems kind of ridiculous. Another thing, when designing one of your thumbnails, think about what it's going to look like when people are scrolling on YouTube on their phones or when it's popping up in recommended. It's pretty small, so you may be editing it full screen, but then shrink it down and see what it will actually look like on YouTube to a viewer. Are there things that you need to tweak to make sure that that thumbnail is appealing or that it can actually just be seen? See if that thumbnail is something that you would personally click on. If it's not, keep working on it until it's something that reels you in. Now, before you go, now that I've gotten through the majority of my tips, I have one final thing to say. This video is pretty dang detailed, and I know it's pretty long, but it's just barely scratching the surface. I think this video is honestly a pretty good jumping off point if you are starting with a base level of knowledge of 0. However, there's still so much more to learn, and the only way that you're gonna do that is by actually being a content creator, by doing this whole YouTube thing. If you want to make stuff for YouTube, I say, who's stopping you but yourself? Do it. It's free. I guarantee you have some sort of video capturing device in your home. You might think, well, the platform is oversaturated and nobody's going to want to watch my stuff, but people are always searching for something new. I know I am. Your brain might think slightly differently than someone else out there, and you might end up sharing or creating something great. If this is something that you want to do for the fun of it, because you want to create something, you want to share your life, you want to connect with people, I say do it. Why not? You have nothing to lose. This is, once again, this is all free. Now, if this is something that you want to do because you want to make some quick cash, I say grab your coat and see yourself out, because that is not going to happen. And two things are going to happen. One, you're going to end up hating your time here, but two, you're going to be giving the rest of us who really want to be here, who are really trying, a bad name. If money comes along, that should just be a bonus, but not the driving force. Getting into YouTube to chase fame or just to do anything to make a quick buck isn't sustainable, takes opportunities away from people who are genuine and care about what they're doing, and brings a bad name to those of us who honestly want to be here. But if this is something that you want to do for you, or because you want to help other people, or because you want to connect with other people, I will have a playlist linked in the description of the other type of videos that I've made on my YouTube channel about YouTube tips. And I'll also link some of my favorite YouTube tips / YouTube advice creators that I watch, because I think there are a lot of excellent resources out there. And I think it's also worth hearing other people's opinions, but like I said, you're going to learn the most from actually doing it. Now, like I said, I might make some more videos about this topic in the future, especially if y'all want to see some from me. So leave any questions that you have for me in the comments down below, or any video requests that you have. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, so that way you never miss an upload. Otherwise, that is it for me. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you and your time. Stay beautiful, have a marvelous day, have fun creating if that's what you so choose to do, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!